Sinatra's. I'm sitting here in the woods in the middle of nowhere with my friend Pat, also the lead developer of Wayne Games. I'm trying to figure out right now, as just a game developer, what kind of project are you working on right now? And what's really like the complex details of what goes into it? Because games control the world right now.
Well, that's one of the main reasons I decided to make games, is because I primarily make music. And my theory is people experience music now in different ways, and they experience it while they're playing games. So I've always had an interest in games, and so I decided to look into it. And so the first game is actually a series of games. It's called the Questival, and it's going to be like an RPG. It's going to be made in the Game Boy style, so it's pretty old school graphics, but there's a couple reasons for that. But like I said, it's a 4-part game. There's Delta version, there's Gamma version, there's Alpha version, and there's Beta version.
Okay.
And so they all take place on different islands. So there's 4 islands, and the stories all converge at the end of the game. So the endings of each game is similar, just from a different perspective. And it all leads to the 5th game, the part 2 being Omega version.
The Omega version.
So that's the
everything's better when it's Omega.
Yes. So that's the overall idea. These are going to be the first series of games for Wayne Games. And if anyone's interested in how they play, I would say it's a combination between Digimon World 3, which was a game for the PlayStation 1.
Absolutely.
You get your party of 3 Digimon, you wander around the world, you level up, you evolve, all that good stuff. And it was actually regarded as, if not the best Digimon game, probably the second best Digimon game of all time. And one of the other games it's going to be like is obviously Pokemon Red and Blue.
So I'm gonna take 1 second to interject. So I personally, as a child, could have been labeled damn near a heroin addict level of Pokemon player. And do I regret any of the time I spent doing that? Absolutely not. I would love it back, to be honest with you. That time when I was a little boy just at a park playing the Pokemon game, fending off my Pokemon game that was bought for me and loved by my mother from siblings and friends and all the other radical demons of this world. I wish I could have that time back now, because boy, oh boy, was those Pokemon games, absolutely my entire life as a child. You continue, my G, because man, oh man, I was already interested when you threw out the Digimon game.
Well, that's what it is. It's like a trifecta of old school games. So you have the Digimon vibe, Digimon World 3 vibe. And then you have the Pokemon Red and Blue, which is just that top-down RPG adventure, going on various missions,
sending your 10-year-old out into the world,
surfing and all that stuff.
Little electric rat.
And a little bit, and all the stuff like the turn-based battles.
Okay.
So that kind of vibe,
and this third game.
The third game, it's like would be any of the early Legend of Zeldas. So
these right here used to have all of our concern in time, don't you? Some of you kids may not remember if you're watching, but your parents used to spend a lot of time not doing anything but this. I promise you.
That's true. Yeah, so that's what we're working on, is trying to get those 3 going. So the idea is when you're in the overworld walking around and leveling up, it plays like Zelda, where you're getting items and solving puzzles.
Absolutely.
And doing stuff like that. When you're fighting bosses, it's a turn-based Pokemon style RPG. And then there's also a lot of hidden things in the world that are kind of like VPET sort of things, like based on friendship. So that's where kind of the Digimon comes in as well. Is if you give certain characters certain items, then it'll trigger different things that you wouldn't expect.
Right, different chains of events.
And there's a lot of time-based things.
So
but there is one innovative thing. So all those games already exist.
I like that.
So we have to do something different, otherwise we're just ripping off games.
Right.
So the thing that we're going to try to do different now is in the game, there's different things you can collect. One of them are the rare items. And all of these rare items are going to have with them a redeemable physical item, where if you get the item in the game, there will be a promo code to be used in an online store where we will then ship you a physical version of the item that you unlocked in game.
So it's a combination of the game and your, a real life. So you're going to be able to actually obtain things from real life, man. This future is moving fast.
And the other thing as well is there's 77 questival cards to be collected on each island. And when you find these, you can scan the QR codes on these cards in game with your phone, and it will mint an NFT version of those cards, which can then be redeemed for physical cards later.
That's that. See, for some of us, I'm gonna come back to you guys for a second. For some of us who don't know how to speak this new digital warcraft or witchcraft or